The latest on the Kevin Durant trade front, the Suns are not happy. But first, a strange story out of New York. Jason Kidd somehow, some way, still in play. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. I've said it before, but about 70% of you not subscribed to the channel right now. So if you're watching this, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into it. Very strange coming out of New York. Ian Begley said the door is not completely closed on the Knicks and Jason Kidd, per people familiar with the dynamic in Dallas. Now, this is after it was reported that the Mavericks said no, we're not going to allow the Knicks to reach out and contact Jason Kidd. The Knicks have had the door slammed in their face on Ime Udoka and every other coach that they've tried to poach from any other team. They've been told, no, we are not going to allow you to go and talk to our coaches. However, Dallas reportedly said the same thing. So I don't understand how the door is not completely closed. Maybe there is some doubt in Dallas. Maybe Dallas would consider, if Jason Kidd really pushed hard for an opportunity to interview with the Knicks or to get the Knicks job. Let's face it, if the Knicks are going to talk to Jason Kidd, they're going to give him the job. But it is strange that the door is not completely closed while it is closed in all these other places. In fact, Billy Donovan is getting a contract extension with the Chicago Bulls, in part because the Knicks were interested. So teams have largely shut down the Knicks' effort to go try to steal a coach from another team. Chris Finch from the Minnesota Timberwolves being another one. And it seemed like that's what Dallas did. Yet somehow Ian Begley saying the door is still a little bit open for Kidd to wind up the head coach of the New York Knicks. Will be interesting to see how that all plays out. In the meantime, we do have Taylor Jenkins interviewing, becoming the first coach to officially actually interview, and he is actually available. He's going to interview for the head coaching job with the New York Knicks, so we'll see where they go with that. But Kevin Durant, the trade market with Giannis looking to be off the market. Kevin Durant is the primary trade chip that's out there that we're waiting to fall. Of course, yesterday we got the big, shocking move, Desmond Bane going to the Orlando Magic. But as the rumor mill heats up, the Kevin Durant situation, all eyes are on that. It is well known KD will be traded before the draft, which is coming up in a week and a half. So KD going to be on the move. Where will he land? Well, right now the Suns are not happy with the suitors. Let's take a look here. Brian Windhorst had the latest on that.
What I understand, the three teams on Durant's list, Miami, San Antonio, and Houston, have not made offers that have gotten Phoenix excited to this point. To this point is very important. Minnesota was aggressive at midseason, and Minnesota, from what I understand, has been the most aggressive team in these trade talks. I do think Toronto is lurking out there. Toronto is making the number 9 pick in this draft, in addition to some players available in multiple different scenarios. And I think the LA Clippers are lurking out there as well. But I would say right now, if I had to put a favorite, I definitely think Minnesota is the team that's been most aggressive.
So interesting, because we had the news the other day that the Phoenix Suns are not that worried about where Kevin Durant wants to go. Kevin Durant wants to go to Miami. He wants to go to Houston. He wants to go to San Antonio. Those three teams. Now the Clippers, the Raptors, and the Wolves are all in pursuit. And here's Wendy saying it's the Wolves. The Wolves are the team that are hottest in the pursuit of Kevin Durant. They tried to get him last year at the trade deadline. Didn't work out. Now they're the team that is the most determined to land him right now. But Phoenix isn't worried about sending KD where he wants to go, despite the fact that Kevin Durant can become a free agent this next summer. So there are teams, and this is critical, there are teams that are willing to take a gamble that they can get Kevin Durant for a year and either convince him to stay, or they're going to play so well, they're going to win a championship, and then it's not going to matter what he does. Similar to the Kawhi situation in Toronto when he won a championship there and then left, which is interesting, again, that you've got the Toronto Raptors heavily involved. By the way, that Raptors potential trade package that we're talking about here, the Raptors trade package is certainly interesting. We're talking about the number 9 overall pick potentially going from Toronto, plus maybe it's RJ Barrett, maybe it's Emmanuel Quickly. That's been out there as a potential opportunity for the Raptors, plus Jakob Poeltl, who is a center. The Phoenix Suns are known to want a big man in any deal. To me, that Raptors package, if that's truly what Toronto is willing to give up, that sounds pretty damn good. But there are these other suitors involved as well. But the teams that Durant wants to go to have so far made underwhelming offers. Now, when we look at what's going on and who has been made available, the Houston Rockets do not want to part with Ahmed Thompson. They don't want to part with Alperen Sengun. I don't blame them on those. I wouldn't do that either. But the Houston Rockets reportedly are looking at maybe something around Jalen Green, to the point where the Suns have actually been poking around the league to find out, according to Michael Scotto of Hoopside, to find out Green's value if they get him, because they may want to flip him. So this is where this could turn into a 3-team, a 4-team, hell, maybe a 5-team trade, because for the Phoenix Suns, a player like Jalen Green doesn't make a lot of sense. He makes sense value-wise. He makes sense as a young player that you could go target. He makes sense contract-wise when we're trying to match salaries in any kind of a deal. But as far as the fit on the Phoenix Suns, on a team that already has Bradley Beal, on a team that already has Devin Booker, Jalen Green doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In fact, Jalen Green's arrival with the Houston Rockets and the way he played last season, despite his struggles in the postseason, are part of the reason why the Houston Rockets are reportedly less interested in Devin Booker than they would have been in years past. Jalen Green simply doesn't fit with Devin Booker. So we could see something in Phoenix where if the Houston Rockets are able to give up Green plus something else, maybe it's Jabari Smith Jr. That's another name that's out there. They also have the 10th pick in the NBA draft. It's ironically Phoenix's old pick. They used to have it. The 10th pick in the NBA draft could wind up being part of this. Remember, Houston also has future Suns draft capital. They've got their 2027 pick as well as 2029. So Houston's got the pieces that the Phoenix Suns would want, including the 10th pick in this year's draft. They've got Jalen Green. And then the Suns could turn around and flip Jalen Green into something else with another team. So if a deal does come to fruition with the Rockets, that's certainly something to keep an eye on. But so far, Houston doesn't seem to be as enamored with Kevin Durant as some of the other clubs are. Now, Miami Heat, meanwhile, would like to land Kevin Durant, and the reports out there circulating that the Phoenix Suns have indeed, this is according to Michael Scotto, done background work on Andrew Wiggins now to see how he would potentially fit with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. However, the holdup on the Miami side of things is reportedly Kel Ware. The Suns want him included in any deal that would send Kevin Durant to the Miami Heat, and the Heat don't want to give him up. So again, we've got another team. You've got the Houston Rockets, who have some interesting pieces, but will they go as far as to give up the stuff that the Suns actually want? We're talking about future Phoenix draft capital. Maybe not. That right now is in the possession of the Houston Rockets. Then you look at the Miami Heat, who have the pieces that the Phoenix Suns want, particularly the young big Kel Ware, but Miami doesn't want to give up Kel Ware. They'll do something around Andrew Wiggins. They'll do something around some other pieces, maybe Terry Rozier, but Kel Ware so far has been the sticking point in that situation. Meanwhile, in San Antonio, by the way, I should mention this before I move too far off of the center situation. Jake Fisher reported that the Suns are so determined to get a center that they're even checking in on Kristaps Porzingis, who right now is on an expiring contract with the Boston Celtics, and the Celtics are very known to be sellers out there on the market as they're trying to lower their overall costs. They're planning on missing Jason Tatum for all of next season. So that's interesting. The Phoenix is so determined to get a starting center on this roster. Right now, they clearly don't feel like Nick Richards is that they're even looking in on Kristaps Porzingis. They're looking at Jakob Poeltl with the Toronto Raptors if a deal gets done there. Kel Ware is another guy that they would like to get. And then the Clippers want to get in on the mix for KD, but they want, the Suns want Ivica Zubac in return, and the Clippers, I don't blame them, are not willing to give him up. I would not do that either. I would not give up Big Zoo in a deal to get Kevin Durant, not at KD's age, as good as KD is, but if you can get a deal around Norman Powell, around Bogdan Bogdanovic, maybe Derek Jones Jr., then the Clippers can be one of these teams that's kind of the dark horse in all of this as well. In addition to Toronto, in addition to the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Clippers can be in the mix here too. Now, San Antonio is one of the preferred landing spots for Kevin Durant, but they, just like all these other teams, are holding back on their main assets. And once again, you've got the problem similar to Jalen Green with the Houston Rockets, where if Devin Vassell is a big part of the trade package for Kevin Durant, does he really fit long-term with Devin Booker? And the Spurs reportedly not willing to give up Stephon Castle, not willing to give up the number 2 overall pick. Let's face it, if they were, this thing's done already. If the Spurs were willing to give up the number 2 pick, if they're willing to give up Stephon Castle, that's it. Game over. He is a San Antonio Spur, but clearly that's not been the case just yet. So, by the way, I should note that even if the Spurs were to put Devin Vassell in the deal, that's not even necessarily where they want to go. In general, the belief is it's Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sohan that are the primary pieces that they're looking to trade. So where does all of this And it's a lot, obviously, going on in the Kevin Durant trade market. Where does all of this leave us? Well, effectively, it leaves us in a place where the three teams that Kevin Durant wants to go to, which can matter because these are teams that he's going to commit to long term. Remember, he's on an expiring contract. And so whoever gets him will probably want him to sign a new deal with them next summer. He could also sign an extension. So we'll probably want him to do that contract extension if they're able to give up significant assets for him. But all three of those teams, Houston, San Antonio, Miami, they are all holding back with the primary asset that the Phoenix Suns want. When we're talking about Kel'el Ware, we're talking about the draft capital that the Houston Rockets have. We talk about Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, the number 2 pick. All three of these teams that KD really wants to go to, they are trying to prevent giving up too much in this deal. And so the Suns aren't thrilled with that. Meanwhile, the Wolves really, really want Kevin Durant to the point where there's reports that Rudy Gobert could be the piece that they wind up trading for KD. There could be other pieces that wind up on the move. Maybe Rob Dillingham, who they traded future draft capital last year, ironically with the San Antonio Spurs in order to get him. So he's another piece that could be involved for Minnesota. Then we look at the Toronto Raptors. Could they use the number 9 pick? Could they use Jakob Poeltl, one of RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley? To me, that's a pretty attractive trade package as well. And then the LA Clippers, Norman Powell, Derek Jones Jr. These are pieces that could be included in a KD deal in addition to Bogdan Bogdanovic. So the dark horse teams, the teams that are not on Durant's preferred list, to me right now, especially Toronto and Minnesota, are presenting offers that are really, really competitive. But the problem is KD only wants to go to Houston, San Antonio, or Miami. And so right now it's a waiting game to see which one of those three teams blinks first and gives the Suns the piece that they want. And if they continue to be unwilling to surrender those assets, perhaps at that point, the Phoenix Suns will just say, you know what, Toronto, let's do this thing. Let's get it done. Or maybe it'll be Minnesota, one of the teams that KD does not necessarily want to go to. The question is, can KD influence those teams enough to scare them away by promising to leave in free agency in 2026. So we'll see where this whole situation is going to go. Obviously full of drama, but everybody let me know, where do you think Kevin Durant should wind up? I still think the Houston Rockets make the most sense personally, but I've had a lot of Rockets fans tell me, no, thank you. We don't want to give up what it would take to get KD. So everybody let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Where should Kevin Durant ultimately land? Right now, it's a waiting game, and we're going to see who blinks first, whether it's Phoenix or one of these 6 main suitors. Don't forget to subscribe right here to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.